Good morning and welcome to another edition of Military Hour. We have a special guest with us this morning, Pam Mathis. She is President, Unit 392, American Legion Auxiliary here in Panama City.
That is correct.
Well, good. Welcome.
Morning.
And you have got some news about something that's going on that should pique everybody's interest in the veteran community.
Yes, I do.
And if you want to start us off, let's get to it.
I will. Well, let me start out by giving you just a little backstory. I met Shane Johnson through a real estate transaction that we were working on together, and he invited me to lunch one day. And we were discussing the American Legion and our mission and how we work with veterans every day.
Did you meet him here or in another location?
I met him here in Panama City. And so he asked me a question, very simply, have you seen any urgent need for veterans in this community? And I said, well, I actually would say there's two. We have a large number of homeless veterans in the area.
Unfortunately.
And we also have veterans who do not have transportation to get to the bus that takes them from Panama City to Pensacola to the VA hospital. And several of them have been walking. Many of them have been walking to these appointments. If they don't make it, they miss the bus. They don't make the appointment. And it may take 2 months to get another appointment.
Sure, or longer.
And one of our members, Miss Ellen Gilbert,
Yes, I'm familiar with Ellen.
had talked with me a number of times trying to get volunteers to just drive the bus from Panama City to Pensacola.
Right.
And then she was telling me how she's picking many of these men and women up from their homes at 5:30 in the morning and driving them out to catch this bus.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 79 years old.
I'm well aware.
So as I told him this story with tears in his eyes, he said, "You've got to be kidding me." And I said, "No, I'm very, very serious. This is a problem in our area."
I don't know how long Ellen has been heading up that bus, so to speak. Is it one van or two here?
I believe it's
one.
Just one.
Anyway, she's been doing it for a number of years.
Yes.
I don't know the exact number, but tireless veteran supporter, and it's still in operation. So I'm saying this just real quickly. If anybody wants to volunteer to help drive that van from Panama City to Pensacola,
yes,
get in touch with us, and we can point you that direction. And I just wanted to interject that.
Yep.
But now let's talk about Booyah.
Booyah. So after this conversation, Shane left and went back to Orlando, and apparently this never left his mind. So he called me a couple of weeks later and he said, "Listen, I've got some really good ideas that I want to discuss with you."
Mm-hmm.
And so he told me how he's working on implementing a project to buy a bus that we will have here in Panama City, where if someone needs transportation from their home to the Navy base, if they need transportation from their home maybe to a local doctor, that we would be able to provide this service. I said, well, that would be fantastic. Well, then a step further, he wants to have a van customized or a bus customized so that homeless vets can come and shower, maybe pick up some clothes, give them some information to help them go and do a job interview in the proper attire, looking good, feeling good about themselves. Because I know as I go through the community and meet different business members, I hear a lot of people say they can't find good, hard workers in this area.
Yeah.
But who better to work than that disciplined military man who really wants to work, but for whatever reason is falling down on his luck, and he needs a little boost to hopefully get him back in the workforce. So it will benefit our community in so many different ways. Good employees, help our homeless population, help the people get to these appointments that they desperately need to find out what's wrong with them. And I'm so glad that I met him, that we had this conversation, and that I can be a part of this just by a little conversation. You know, you never know who you're going to meet throughout the day that you tell a little story to, who might be like Shane Johnson, who took this back to Orlando. And he's not just doing this in Panama City.
Right.
It is going to be in Orlando, and Panama City will be phase 1.
You know, and it might be considered a cliche, and you've heard it, most people have heard it. It only takes a spark to start a fire.
It does.
So there's the idea.
Yes.
And we had talked a little bit earlier before we came in here on the air that myself and others, we had that discussion, much like Shane is thinking about, somewhere that a homeless veteran, male and female, can get themselves cleaned up to be presentable, whether it's shave, whether it's, bathing, whatever the case may be, brush your teeth. And my thoughts were maybe some kind of a mobile home unit or something like that,
Right.
that you would have the individual stalls for toileting and bathing and maybe some lockers so they could put their belongings, because they're carrying everything they own in bags. You can't go to a job interview like that.
Right.
You're just not going to get hired.
Right.
But if you can do as you said, be presentable and go on that interview, you might get the job. And
Absolutely.
what better? And it's a hand up, not a hand out.
Exactly.
So yeah, and veterans are appreciative of help, and they'll give back. So
Right.
all right, I'm going to shut up. You tell us about
Okay.
this. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. So basically, Shane started talking to different individuals with representatives in his area, down in the Orlando area, mayor, and he's really gotten the spark flying in the Orlando area. So what my job is, and what I want to try to do today, is get the word out, because I know, yes, I am part of 392, but I am part of a much bigger picture with the veteran community in this area, and we are very strong in this area with our veteran groups.
Right.
We will be contacting Representative Graham, Gwen Graham. We're going to talk to the mayor. We're going to get city council. We're going to let them know what's going on, because this journey will begin. There will be a hike, a 360-mile hike that will begin in the Orlando area. And I'm going to cheat just a minute. He's going to start at the VA medical facility in Lake Nona. He and at least 2 other Marines who served with him from the 3rd Battalion, 4th Marine Corps Division, will be hiking the entire 360 miles to Panama City, and will be arriving here during the Veterans Day parade and celebrating their journey, raising awareness for this project so that we can continue to get sponsors. We can continue to get the support of people with power within the state of Florida who can help us, because there is money available, absolutely money available within our government for these type programs for our veterans, and we've just got to find somebody to help us tap into that money, because he sees this not just for Orlando and Panama City, but he wants to reach out to the entire state of Florida. And I have met Shane Johnson. He is a go-getter, and I can see this taking off and touching the lives of many veterans, not only here, Bay County or Florida, but throughout this nation.
I would hope it would go nationwide.
I believe so.
And they get the funding. But his mission is to give back initially to the Florida community, the veteran community. And like you mentioned, he was a Marine and served 4 years. And he opened this mortgage company. And I thought initially, well, he's going to have a small market. He's only going to be servicing veterans. But if that's his heart and that's what his company's about,
that is
more
his heart.
power to it.
That is his heart and soul, and he probably stays busier than you can imagine, because there are a lot of veterans trying to buy homes. Why not reach out to them? He does offer special incentives for the veterans. And initially when I was introduced, I called him and asked him, how can you give this much of a rebate, or not necessarily a rebate, but a discount, because you're working with a veteran, but there are so many charges and fees involved in purchasing a home. So, but he gives back to every single veteran that he works with, because it's not about the money for him. It's about giving back and having their back, having their six.
Their six, exactly. Now that's one thing, and one of his statements, and I'm quoting this, that all the members of our company are here to work for a purpose, capitalized purpose, not just a paycheck.
Exactly.
So, sounds like his heart's in the right place. I can't wait to meet him.
Well, he would love to come and well,
we'd love to have him on the show.
He's going to come on the show. He has a local employee, associate who works with him, and her name is MJ Motto. And if you check out her Facebook page, she's always running marathons and working. It's always to do with veterans.
I think I've heard the name.
Probably
I haven't met her, but I think I've heard the name.
So he tries to get everybody that is within his company involved, not only with the mortgage industry and selling home or financing homes for the veterans, but working out in the community, being seen, and being an active part of the veteran community. So that's a very, very good thing, because then they get to know on a personal basis. And a lot of the employees that he hires are veterans as well.
Well, there you go. That's fabulous in itself.
Fabulous.
So, yeah. Little OJT going on within his company.
Yep.
And the thing that strikes me is that there are people now thinking about how can we accommodate our homeless veterans, male and female, and be able to help them to help themselves get back into mainstream, get back in the workforce, and increase their skills. Because like you said, they've already had the military training, so they're disciplined.
Exactly.
It's something that never leaves you. My wife, God bless her, calls me crack it on, because guess what? I wasn't that way before I ever got in the military. A stick of dynamite wouldn't wake me up. But it's been that way ever since. And I am up at the crack of dawn, ready to go.
Right.
And with most, I believe it's that way. It's something you wind up, so much becomes ingrained in your person that's who you are.
Right.
And it never leaves you.
No, you're correct. But, and in other conversations with him, he said something that really was compelling to me. Our active duty community now, our younger veterans, we can't, if we're not going to step up and take care of our World War II, Vietnam, Gulf War veterans, who's going to? We have to step up, whether those of us who are younger need to make every effort that we can make to help our older veterans, because eventually these younger veterans are going to be the older veterans. So
Exactly.
We need to set the standard and make sure that we're taking care of our own people. We associate ourselves through our Legion post, our VFW post, with like-minded people, because that's what we're used to in the military community. I personally did not serve. My husband did for 23 years. But when we left that security, that camaraderie,
you miss it.
You miss it a lot.
Tremendously.
And that was part of the reason that we came to Florida, joined 392, to get back in with people that we associate with, that we want to associate ourselves with, that we feel a bond and a closeness to.
I remember when y'all came.
That's right.
And that's the thing. It's veterans helping veterans.
Right.
It's what we do. It's what we love. It's not for, and I'm going to quote GOAT, Mike Kirchhoff.
Mike Kirchhoff.
He says it, and he said it best. It's not for the applause. It's for the cause.
Yes.
First time I heard him say that, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So that one goes to him. That's his quote. It's not mine. And another tireless, him and his wife, Tina, tireless veteran supporters. And there are many of them, not to leave anybody out, but we'd be here all day if we started naming names from all the different organizations.
Tina is actually at Girls State. We sent
right now
a girl to Girls State. And
11 days, I think, she'll be there. Yeah.
So I think the girls arrived today, actually. So
I didn't know that.
They're getting, all the ladies were getting geared up, ready for the girls to come in. And, you know, that's an excellent program to teach them how government works. And so. And
another thing that needs to happen, now listen up, young folks, young women and young men. I'm one of the old guys now, okay? I'm way past retirement age in every sense of the word, Social Security and the whole 9 yards. It is your time. We will help you. We will pass knowledge to you, but you need to be the one stepping up. It's not that we want to just sit back and do nothing, but our time's through.
Right.
Not that we can't help with a little knowledge and a little guidance, but it's your turn. It's your time.
Right.
Our time's over.
And I think that's what I really found, what I find to be such a good thing about our post.
Oh, the mix.
Is the mix. You see, we have 8-year-olds in our junior program. We have the active duty members, the young guys, you know, that are still wearing the uniform, that are out there helping with the events that we do. And it's really nice to have that mix, because so many people think, oh, American Legion or VFW, there's a bunch of old guys, but it's not anymore.
No.
People
the ones that
really
are thriving are doing exactly what you said.
Right.
They're growing. The AMVETs, the VFWs, the Legions, they're growing and they're going.
They really are.
And
they
one
really
of the
are.
most successful programs that I adopted very early, as did many others, was the Legion Riders.
Yes.
Over 2,000 chapters nationwide and growing like crazy.
Yes.
Donating millions of dollars.
Raising
just tremendous amounts of money.
You're right.
And every organization is out there doing that now. And that's a good thing, because now I get to see they're bringing in the young troops, the young wives, the young families, and it's about helping those families and helping those veterans. And the women serve just like the men.
Right.
You might not be a bona fide veteran, but you're a veteran of being a military
we keep
wife.
the home front safe while you're protecting the country.
Yeah.
So yes, I remember those days well. But we've got to step up. We've got to keep moving. I think since Gulf War and all the celebration and the notoriety of bringing the military back to the forefront of what they're doing for us every day has helped spring forward so many people coming into the American Legions, the VFWs, because the military now is seen in a whole new light than it was back in your day.
Well, it's better received, let's say.
Right.
Even though there's so much bad news out there that we're hearing about constantly, there's much good news about what happens and what goes on in the military community itself. Retirees, vets, and active duty. So there's a lot going on, and the simple reason for that is, to me, is inescapable, because we do love our country. We do love our brothers and our sisters. It's just, we took that oath and it doesn't expire.
Right.
So, anyway. But Booyah Mortgage, I got to talk about this guy again, Shane. I can't wait to meet him. Gonna hike 360 miles.
360 miles. Can you imagine that?
From Lake, not at my age, no. In fact, I wouldn't even want to do it when I was 18.
It's going to be sectioned out. They're going to do 20 miles a day. And we're going to be working with, I messaged Tina last night and said, when you get home from Girls State, we need to sit down. What I would like to see, I know there's a lot of veteran organizations between Point A and Panama City, is we're going to try to work on having some American Legions or VFWs along the way, maybe help provide some water, places for them to sleep for the night.
They will.
So that will be something that I'll be working on this end along with them. I believe in the near future we're going to be seeing some big names come down the pipe. I'm going to let Shane do those kind of introductions.
Yeah, we don't want to steal his thunder.
But he's really caught the attention of some very important people who have said, we love it and we want to be a part of what you're doing. And so that's why I think this is going to be such a big, big event. And I'm so proud that Panama City will be a big part of the first leg of this. I'm very proud that I had the conversation that sparked this within him, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to help him get the word out, be right by his side every step of the way, because I certainly see him doing some wonderful, wonderful things with this project.
And that 360-mile, I guess we can't call it a ruck because they won't have on full backpacks, but it's going to start October 22nd at Lake Nona, going to finish here in Panama City on the 11th of November.
Correct.
Correct? So we want to keep that in mind. You want to stay tuned and keep listening to Military Hour, because we will at some point have Shane here of Booyah Mortgage and his project that he's kicking off. And he's going to have, I'm going to let this slip out. There may be some very large sponsors.
Yes.
And if that comes to fruition, boom, boom, this thing is going to really take off. And I hope it happens.
We're planning a conversation, 3-way, 4-way conversation with some pretty important people in the very near future. I don't know if you saw the interview that we did. He met Miss Ellen.
Oh, no, I did not.
So I'll have to share that with you.
Please do.
We met over on the beach at the Chamber of Commerce, and we videotaped. And, Ellen has been working with veterans for 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Long time.
It was such a pleasure to get to introduce her to Shane, and for Shane to hear firsthand how many veterans that she was individually, by herself, taking care of. And I don't know if you remember this, but there was a gentleman locally who was having some severe problems with his foot. Mm-hmm. And she was carrying him back and forth to Pensacola, taking him to his doctors here. Ended up, they had to amputate his leg. We loaned him one of those great scooter chairs.
I remember.
And he recently brought it back and showed us how he's walking on his new prosthesis. But
was his name Mike? Do you remember?
I believe his name was Mike.
I met Mike,
but
and I helped him one time.
She's such an amazing person. And Shane told her that day, he said, Miss Ellen, I'm walking for you, because it's time that you let us younger people do all this work that you've been doing for so many years. It's time for you to rest. And you're just going to love him, Dieter. He is the most amazing young man. He's in his 30s, but he's amazing. And what he's doing to give back to me, I'm just in awe of him every time we talk.
As a general rule, I love people, and I generally love everybody I meet. Now, some people might not think so, but I don't hold animosity in my heart, because it's not going to do any good for anybody.
No.
I'm just not that way. I've been through enough. I've been forgiven enough, and all I want to do is give back. That's it.
Right.
The best way I can when I can.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah. I told him that maybe I could meet him for part of this journey, but I got to lose a few more pounds before I could do 360 miles. That's just a little bit. That's a little much for me. I asked him maybe if I could skateboard behind him. Let him pull me.
Motorizing, yeah. One step at a time. Just don't think about anything
I'm
else.
Sure that other people will join them.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the walk, and
and you're going to keep us posted. You're going to let us know what's going on. Okay.
The route has been posted. I will get you some information,
Please
but
do.
I did post that out on my Facebook page this morning. And again, we're going to try to help him along the way with other posts or veteran organizations, groups who can support these guys as they're going through this walk, because that's a long way to hike. But he said if they can walk 15 miles to get on a bus just to go to a doctor's appointment, I can walk 20 miles a day to raise awareness, get the money, the funding, the support that is needed in order to help these veterans not just for a little while, but for long term.
Yeah, and I mean, just the thoughts of what they're doing, and it's him and two of his cohorts that are actually team members with his Booyah Mortgage Company.
Well, I believe these are brothers. They're
they're veteran brothers that he served with.
Right, so I don't know whether they work for Booyah or not, but they have joined his cause, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot of other people join the cause as well.
I'm going to give out his phone number and email if you don't mind.
No, please.
So if anybody wants to contact Shane Johnson, his last name Johnson, correct?
That's correct.
Shane Johnson, area code 704-574-6611. Repeating, area code 704-574-6611. You can also email him at shane.johnson@booyahveteranbusproject.com. Now, I'm going to spell that booyah part. You should be able to spell the Veteran Bus Project at BOOYAH, veteranbusproject.com. So if you got questions or you want to even make donations somehow.
Right, because he has set up the 501c3 charitable organization.
Yep.
And it's, again, Booyah Veteran Bus Project Foundation. And if anybody wants any information, we can give you a link, Facebook link. There'll be a press release that will be coming out soon. And I believe that people are going to be talking about this for years to come. I really do.
I believe so too. Not just real quick, because I did have a piece here. I don't know if you had this or not.
I do.
That you did send it to me, and he I'm not going to give it all away, but a Marine's dream becomes reality. I didn't realize that Seminole County has over 42,000 veterans in it.
Wow.
And he's stating that Florida ranks second in the nation with the largest amount of homeless
vets.
That's a shame. That's a national shame.
Yep.
Not just a shame for the state. They're coming here for, I think, what are obvious reasons. It's a lot warmer here than it is in Colorado.
Right.
Or Alaska. And that may be an impetus, it may not, I don't know. But I so hope this becomes to fruition and becomes successful for the veterans.
Oh, it will. There's no doubt in my mind. If anybody has got more drive, I don't think I've met them yet. He is the most determined young man that I've ever met. And to take this on by listening to a conversation, thinking about it his entire drive back to Orlando, and not just letting it fall to the wayside,
right,
but really implementing a plan to do something for the bigger picture.
And, and that's what it's about. It's about giving back and helping your community. Because if you're helping a vet in your community, guess what? It ultimately helps your community.
Right. Well, somebody asked him, why Panama City? You live in Orlando. And he said, because Panama City has been very good to me. His company was well received. There's a number of real estate agents in the area that use him. I recently called him, and I had a buyer looking for a house, and they were not a veteran. And he said, I'm sorry, Pam. I don't work with anybody unless it's a veteran.
Well,
and so
his company.
I said, wow, that's pretty amazing. But he has all the business he needs, and he's able to continue to work and support and help the veterans in other ways as well, not just in finding a home.
That's fabulous. We're coming up on just about time to say goodbye until next time. You've got an open invitation to come back on Military Hour. Please go to our Facebook page, Military Hour. Obviously, we want to that thing, that thumbs up thing. So please do that. And folks, keep in mind about this Marine's dream becoming a reality, Booyah Mortgage, and what he wants to do to help the homeless veterans. One homeless veteran is too many.
Yes.
And so hopefully we can put an end to that. I'd like to see an end to homelessness, period, in our country. But until next time, Pam, I'm going to say goodbye. Please tell your wonderful son I said hello.
I will.
And your husband, tell him I said keep working. You need the money, honey.
I will do that.
Okay. Thanks again. Appreciate you.